Kyle asks, as someone who's about to turn 30 myself, what was the most important thing you did in your 30s to change your future?
PK, why don't you take that? He's about to turn 30.
It's a great question. And the answer is I took a deep breath, stepped back, and I said to myself, where did I kind of want to be in the next 10 to 20 years from then? I actually was working at Gillette. I worked there twice. And this was 72 to 78. And I took a step back and I said, I wanted to be in a position between the ages of 32 to 35 where I could make a decision, do I kind of stay corporate America and on a fast track and doing all those things, etc., or shift gears and go into a small startup or smaller business environment. Had a couple of my own patents, so a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit, but wasn't in a position where I really had those choices. Wasn't getting inundated by smaller startups or new ventures. And so I said, you know what? And I love Gillette. They were doing great, and they would buy me and everything that counted. And I said, I've got to get into the New York area, and I made a decision to move into New York with a large company who I communicated with and said, hey, for 3 to 5 years, I'm going to beat the bushes and see if I want to stay or go into small business. And so that's kind of when I stepped back, I said, and the rest is history.
So Peter was there because I married Lizzie when I was 28, turned 29 on our wedding night. And so he saw this, which a lot of you have heard before, which is right at 30, I kind of freaked out a little bit and started really putting the pedal to the metal, started Wine Library TV right after it. And as much as I worked and as intensely as I worked in my late 20s, 30 started the process of this insanity that I'm executing against now. So I just want to buy the jets, and I didn't think I was going fast enough. And so I also took a step back and said, where am I going to be in 10 or 20 years? Let me make sure my behavior maps it. So I think as you're entering your 30s, I think it's really smart to think about your 40s and 50s.
So what Gary does on intuition and gut and heart and passion, I kind of did over my career, maybe in a little more of a discipline, a little more balanced left brain, right brain way. And it was a driver of why we decided to write the book Think to Win, was to try to bring some very simple concepts and how-tos in the world of strategy and execution to folks who are working in small, medium, large companies, public or private, even in the not-for-profit sector, where they can take a step back and say, hey, look, here are a few principles, a few how-tos to get folks aligned, fact-based, not myth-based, and get aligned on key issues, key opportunities, and how do we execute. Yogi Berra, who I was a big fan of, and yes, I do have a signed picture from Don Larson and Yogi Berra.
Because all of you were curious.
Curious of that, who said a good batter will always beat a good pitcher, and vice versa.
And he is the best.
I'm a believer in good strategy always drives good execution, and vice versa.
Yep.
And that's kind of what this book is about, in a more disciplined way, to kind of those how-tos to let some power strategic thinking work for
Tremendous right hook, Peter. Let's go, India.